Thank you, Jeff, for joining me this evening to on our podcast. If you can just tell the listeners, please, your full name and a bit about yourself and the company that you run.
Hi, yeah, thank you, Lorna. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Jeff Thompson. I run an organization called Cancer Don't Let It Win. It's a prostate cancer support group for men who have been diagnosed with prostate cancer. We also have a support for those women who are living with those men that's been diagnosed with prostate cancer because women often get, forgotten once a man's been diagnosed, and I don't want that to happen to anyone. Yeah, because cancer affects you and it's a ripple effect that runs through the family. Your loved ones all feel it. So it's important for them to be on board.
Really important issue that you've just raised, and you're right. It does affect the whole family, and you know, women will be um, nurturers and carers, or and obviously provide support. So, I know you provide support for other men, but can you just tell us when you first received your cancer diagnosis, what was the immediate emotional landscape like? Did you feel isolated? Do you know where to turn to? What was your support like?
Wow. That's a question that brings me right back to April 2018. And I could never forget the date, the 28th of March, the day my son was born, actually. So it's a very significant time. When I was told that I had prostate cancer, straight away, I I was like, what? I just heard white noise. Yeah, nothing was coming through. It's almost like I'm looking at the oncologist in front of me, right, or surgeon and the Macmillan nurse, and I'm just there seeing their mouths moving. But as far as I'm concerned, it was shock. And mentally, straight away, I was isolated. I felt I can't tell anyone this. This is embarrassing. How did I end up like this? So even though at the time there was a Macmillan nurse in the room with me, I'll be totally honest with you. I almost wanted to say to her, "What are you doing here?" And the reason I said that is because it's like, what, how are you going to be able to help me through my cancer journey, my prostate cancer journey, and you don't have a prostate? You don't know what it's going to feel like for me, you know? And, I just thought of all the dark stages, like who's going to be there to really help me? Where am I really going to get the support? And, I remember going home on a different cloud nine. This cloud was a gray cloud nine because I just could not believe I'd just been told that I've got prostate cancer. Isolation stepped in from the minute I was given the diagnosis.
And what was the difference? Thank you for sharing that. Obviously, it's a very big shock. And I know the nurses will step in to provide the immediate help, but then sometimes the support you need comes like way down the line, just not the shock of receiving the news, but obviously, navigating the whole information and what that means to you and to your family. So tell me, what's the difference between um, the support you received from friends and family and the support you maybe needed from someone who truly understood the experience? You said the nurse couldn't help you because she hasn't got a prostate. So what difference is there between friends and family and somebody like yourself? Because I know you now do support groups.
Yeah.
Why is it so significant?
Mm. I'll be honest, I mean, going back, wow, 7 years now, and just returning back to those moments when I was diagnosed, I didn't tell anyone. Yeah, my friends, my family, the only person that I actually told, but I told it in such a horrible way, was my son that called me. Remember, it's his birthday, and he calls me, and we often, talk on the birthday. We do things because I love my son. Every time I talk about him, I just feel emotional. And he said to me, "Dad, do you know what day it is?" And at this point, I've just been told I got prostate cancer and totally just ignored him. He said, "Dad, are you there? Are you listening to me?" And I just went into one. I cursed out my son. Yeah, I said the most unnice things to him because I was taking out the shock on him. I was taking out the diagnosis on him. And I could hear in his voice where he felt so hurt. This is his birthday. Daddy and son, normally we have a great time and have a good laugh. But this time, this is where cancer started to rob me of my emotions and of who I was. So I couldn't tell him. But then I said, I got bloody cancer and I'm going to die. And all you're worried about is your blah, blah, blah birthday. And I put the phone down. I was torn. I was torn. I was so hurt. And I was even more hurt because I know he was hurt. And I thought, where did that come from? And I couldn't even pick the phone up to apologize because I was still so much in my selfish self, thinking it's all about me. Nobody exists no more. I'm going through this on my own. Eventually, I think I only told one or two of my friends, right? Literally after I had my operation. It's when I had the operation, I went back to my friend who told me he was diagnosed, and we start having a conversation. Because now I feel that it was more important for me to be able to speak to someone that's got lived experience, someone that's gone through it, rather than someone just, have no idea whatsoever what you're going through, or only have clinical, knowledge. But I'm not going to be able to say to me, don't worry, you'll get through it. This is a process and this is going to happen to you and that's going to happen. Give me things to expect. I wasn't told that. I mean, after my operation, I felt like I was on a conveyor belt, you know. It's almost like they were trying to rush me out that hospital, to be honest. I remember the doc saying to me, "Oh, come on, you need to get up and walk." Couldn't walk. I was in agony. My back was in some pain that I've never experienced in my life. It felt like I couldn't even feel my legs. So all of that was added pressure on me, right? On my mental state of mind, which was causing me to really slowly, slowly fall into depression. So seriously, if I had the support like what I give to the men now, right, I wouldn't have gone down that dark road that I went down. I wouldn't, because at least
Um,
I have someone to lean on. I have someone that's gonna talk to me, which is non-judgmental, someone that can relate, someone that's there that would just listen and don't have to give me any advice. But I didn't have that in the beginning. And in the beginning,
no,
it was
I
tough.
understand. I understand. And you're saying that you told your son, and that sounds very much like a delayed reaction, isn't
Yeah,
it? So you're in shock, your body goes into shock, and then you hold on to it, and then it comes out, and it comes out in a way that you couldn't control because that's what, shock can do to people. And you're delivering news, and you said earlier you just don't support men, you support families. So
mhm,
people now know where they can go to. And you said you didn't have what you provide now for other men, and you raise awareness as well as people,
yeah,
if they do receive diagnosis, they know, oh, there's this company that, this charity, this CIC, that enables
Mm,
support, that provides the support.
yeah, because I believe support should start from day one. I believe that every man that's been given a prostate cancer diagnosis should have a body from day one. Someone that can literally understand what they're going through.
How do they,
Someone. Mm.
I mean, how do they get that body? How would they get that from diagnosis?
Well, strangely enough, I mean, now because of what I do, um, I do get referrals from certain hospitals when a man's been diagnosed. And those referrals come through to me. I have a conversation with them, which is known as the one-to-one peer support conversation. And I will listen to their issues and their diagnoses. And then I will say, okay, let's say I've never had radiotherapy. I've never had hormone therapy, but I know someone that's had hormone therapy who's happy to walk that journey with you.
Respect.
Yeah. So that's what I do. I team them up and they become buddies. And it's not like they just become buddies part-time. They become buddies and then they end up becoming real friends. Yeah. So even when they come out to our support groups, this person will now be able to see that person they've been speaking to on the phone, right? And they build a relationship outside of the telephone and more face to face. And believe me, it's really helped a lot of people to navigate their prostate cancer journey so much easier.
I'm sure. Sure, well done to you, really. What kind of tough, honest questions do you think could you ask a peer, or did do people ask each other that you couldn't ask your doctor, or even your own, spouse, really, or your families? Maybe
So
about body image, about fear of recurrence, managing side effects. What kind of tough questions are people really speaking about in peer groups?
the questions people speak to me about, people speak to me about their erectile dysfunction, their urine incontinence. How do I do a pelvic floor exercise properly? What is a Kegel exercise? What if I can't, um, satisfy my partner? You know, what if the cancer comes back? What do I do? There's so much what if, what if, what if. And the only reason I could answer some of those questions is because I've been there. I've been through, remember, before I was diagnosed, I did not have erectile dysfunction. I did not have any urine incontinence problems. Yeah, I didn't have any anxiety problems. Then all of a sudden, I had cancer, I had the operation, and then it all comes flooding through. That is quite a shock. And because those things were not explained to me, right? I wasn't prepared for it. But with these men now, they come and they ask questions. And because I'm quite transparent, and I think it's important to be transparent, they ask these questions. And I would say, yeah, well, this is what happened to me. This is what happened here. And this is what happened with my urine incontinence. And this is how I dealt with the erectile dysfunction. But it doesn't mean you're going to go through the same thing that I went through. You may recover quicker. Yeah, it's not a one size fits all. And yes, it gave me 2 years of headache, 2 years of nightmare, 2 years not being able to, have an erection, 2 years not being able to control your urine. Just imagine that. And that caused me to become very unsociable and isolated myself for 2 years. The
So was
only,
there? Sorry,
sorry,
sorry
go
to
ahead.
interrupt you.
Yeah, the only communication I was making was through my friends down the phone or on Zoom. But going out, forget that. Because then when I did started going out, normally people check the time of the bus or check the traffic and so on. I was
Yeah,
checking where's the closest toilet. Yeah. I was wondering Have I got the right pads on? I was like, how much water can I drink before I need to go to the toilet? What will happen if I'm sitting in a restaurant, okay, and I need to go to the bathroom? And when I get to the bathroom, there's nothing there to dispose the diapers that I'm wearing. All of these things that you don't normally think about, you take for granted. You are now a man living like a child, and it's quite demeaning. And it just makes you feel less of a man. But you know what? You just got to say, like what I did, nothing stays the same forever.
Okay.
Yeah. And just accept what's going on and work toward being patient and your body healing itself. Don't rush. Don't rush. I did all the rushing.
So, was there a piece of advice or an insight that you received from a peer that completely changed your perspective or relieved, major anxiety? I know you didn't go out very much at the beginning. Was there something that completely changed your outlook and you decided, apart from being patient, you just said you're going to wait? Was there any sort of advice one day that you thought, actually, let me do this differently? Did that come of
You
habit?
know, I tell you that the advice I gave to myself was this.
Okay.
Cancer didn't kill me. Why am I trying to kill myself? Yeah. There's I was told I had a successful operation. Why don't I accept that and make sure that I keep living my life today like it's the best day of my life? And I started taking on these affirmations, as probably they would call them, but not
Yes.
just saying it, but adding legs to my words and putting my words into action and talking to others. I found it to be the first step to my healing.
Amazing.
So that's what it was. Rather than remaining silent and hearing someone talk about their journey and you're not saying anything, yet you're going through it twice as difficult as they are,
Yeah.
and don't say anything. That way, it's like you're just killing yourself slowly. You've got to start releasing. You've got to start talking. Because if you don't, nobody knows what's going on in your life unless you talk about it.
Yeah.
But share with those people who are trustworthy. Share with those people who are non-judgmental. In
Yes.
some relationships, you'll have a partner, and it's happened so many times, with all the men I've spoken to,
Yes.
they find that their partners have left them. Some for good reasons, some for reasons they cannot understand. So
Okay.
it's common, okay, but it doesn't mean you must give up. And I'll always say again, cancer may be affecting one part of your body,
Yeah.
right? Don't let it take over the rest of you. Because the rest of you is saying, I can still move. I could still smile. I could still dance. I could still listen to music. I could still go for a walk and sit with my friends and
Yeah.
have a laugh.
Yeah.
And this is the part of us that we need to hold on to. Because
Yes.
while you're working on that part of your body, strengthening that part of your body,
Yes.
the part that's not well will catch up slowly. And suddenly
Wonderful.
that part now feels, oh, I can't take over his life no more. He's
Okay.
now ignoring me and he's getting
Mm.
on. Yeah.
Great, isn't it?
But the more we turn around and think about that side that's not well,
Yes.
we're not helping it and we're not helping ourselves.
Yes.
So it's
That's
really
amazing.
important that, again, I repeat, talking is the first step to your healing and accepting what has happened to you and learning to now adapt to the new way of
Yeah.
living.
So, at what point did you move then from being the person receiving support, through one or two friends, to being the person offering it? And what motivated that transition?
What motivated the transition is during 2018, 2019, coming up to, during the COVID period, my
Yeah.
friends and I, we started communicating on Zoom. And one of my friends said, I feel so good knowing that I could talk to somebody that's not judging me. I feel like I'm being healed. I feel like there's a burden lifted off me. That's when I realized to myself how important it is to get together and communicate. That's when I realized that support and the right kind of support can open up doors and make you feel great.
And particularly during COVID when we were all isolated at home,
Yeah.
that must have mm, been even more important.
Oh, no, COVID was terrible because even during that time, yes, I've been diagnosed within that COVID period and isolation and going through what I went through, you know, which I say, I mean, what I'm going to say is a bit triggering. Like I having attempted suicide during that moment and having no one that could come to your home, right, to come to help you, to guide you. That was extremely scary. It was horrible. I remember when I regurgitated after trying to take tablets and alcohol, right? And I stayed in that mess for 3 days. I remember when I was able to get to my front door, there was food, water, drinks, and all this piled up at my front door of people who came and left stuff there for me because I wouldn't dare open the door. I didn't want to see anybody, didn't want to be here. But those people who did that, I appreciate them. And I looked at that and I then realized to myself that love comes from the most unexpected places. People you don't expect to be there are there. I
Yeah.
really wish I could say that my whole family was there for me. They weren't. They weren't. I remember when my daughter said to me when I eventually told them when they saw I had the operation and everything, she said, "So Dad, so how long have you got to live?" I was like, wow,
What people don't understand, do
they
they?
don't understand.
No, and
Yeah,
that's all that misinformation and fear.
exactly. Yeah,
Fear would have kicked in as well. Sometimes
yeah,
people respond in the most unusual ways
yeah,
because
yeah.
they don't know how to,
But
how to use the right language to express how they are their own that they're feeling for themselves as well as how they're
yeah,
feeling for you.
yeah.
It's
And it's caused me
difficult.
also to, strangely enough, I'm living my best life now. And
Mm.
the reason why I say that is because things I took for granted, I don't take it for granted anymore. Every day I wake up, I give thanks. I say,
Absolutely.
yeah, another day. And for people who are going through their whole cancer journey and the pain and the uncomfortableness they feel, I always say to them, when you wake up in the morning and you feel pain, give thanks because you're present. You're here to feel it. Yeah. You're here to see your grandchildren. You're here to listen to music. You're here to see life. So give
Yeah. So
thanks.
it's a mind matter, isn't it? It's really having
100%.
the strength of mind to be able to, to put yourself in that place. It's got to be
Yeah.
it's a real mind shift
Of course.
to
Yeah.
be able to do so. So tell me, how is your um so is there a healing element, I should say? You talked about healing element in sharing your own experience. Just open that up a little bit more for how that feels, that healing for yourself by sharing your story
Mhm.
and helping people
Yeah.
whilst you're sharing your
Do you
story.
know when I when I'm talking to someone, if someone is referred to me and everyone's different, every single day I speak to someone totally different. And just through listening, because many times I practice what we call slow to speak and quick to listen, because I want to hear and I want to feel where that person's coming from. Yeah, I want to feel their emotion. And I need to be able to tap into where their weakness I could build and make and let that part of them become stronger. Yeah. Having empathy is so important. And it's like when someone talks to me and I'm hearing them and I'm telling them something or helping them through their journey, I'm actually talking back to myself. I find that I'm actually, as you know, the church man would say, I'm ministering to myself. And I'll be thinking, wow, I feel so much better. Yeah. And that person's reaction also makes me feel better. Or especially when you hear someone comes on the phone and they're so broken. And then they say, oh my God, I feel so good. I feel like I could take on the world. I said,
Wow.
man, you're giving me hope. Yeah. Because I
Yeah.
always said to people, cancer, whether it be prostate or any type of cancer, if it's
Yeah.
caught early, it's not a death sentence.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's how you manage it.
Hmm.
And when you spoke earlier about the mind, and I do have a saying about the mind, I call it the ghost of prostate cancer, because
Okay.
nobody sees what's going on in here, but
Right.
only you that is affected feels it. So when
Right.
you're lying in your bed and you're there looking up into the ceiling when you should be sleeping,
Yeah.
that's when the ghost visits you
Okay.
and it says to you, hey, what if I come back? What are you gonna do? Yeah. Look at you. You can't even do this no more. You know, you don't even know if you could get into a relationship anymore because you might not be able to satisfy that person intimately. You know, you could be alone for the rest of your life. And the slightest feelings that you get in your stomach, the unusual feelings in your body, you become a hypochondriac and you're rushing off to the doctor. Whereas before, you wouldn't bat an eyelid.
Yeah.
And you know what? Having prostate cancer has taught me to do to be vulnerable, right?
Right.
Vulnerable in the sense that if I feel like crying, I'll cry.
Hmm.
If I feel like I want to hug, I want to hug. And that whole idea about men don't cry, you got to stay strong. Tears now I recognize is strength, not weakness, because it takes a strong
Interesting.
man to cry in front of his family,
Yeah.
right? Because he's in tune with his vulnerability. It still makes him a man. But those men that run away and then shed the tears around the corner and then come back and thinking, yeah, they're crying out for help.
Yeah.
But when you're in tune with your vulnerability, when you're in tune with your feelings, you know how to navigate around it. Doesn't make you weak to cry. It makes you strong.
Strong.
So again, the answer to your question is when I talk to others, I'm healing myself.
Yeah. It's really interesting. So many things you've said. One thing I'm going to remember from today is slow to speak, quick to listen. It's quite a
Yeah.
good slogan. And most people, it's the opposite way around. We do know that. That's a good one to take
Mm.
away. So, can I ask you, are there any challenges or any pitfalls that people should be aware of when seeking or offering peer support? Comparing treatments, navigating different outcomes. What should they be aware of when speaking to
First and
others?
foremost, be aware of those people that gives you advice. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
That's one thing I don't do. I don't
right,
give advice.
okay,
Yeah, I listen. And then as a peer supporter, I tell you from my own lived experience. And then I explain to you, you may not have to do this because I done it. What I did may not be good for you. Yeah. So it's important to have those people who are not going to say, oh, look, why don't you try this or try that? You know, don't listen to the doctors. They have their own agendas. But if I ever said to you or someone diagnosed with cancer, forget about this medication, go and take this instead.
Yeah,
And when that goes wrong, you're going to blame me. I'm going to be responsible for your, downfall. Yeah. So, yeah, with peer support, make sure you find the right person who's not just compassionate, right? Not just someone that feels sorry for you, but someone that has real empathy. There's a difference between feeling sympathy and empathy.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's so important that a peer supporter has gone through an experience that you are now going through, but you're probably 4 or 5 a year or 2 years ahead of them.
I
So
understand.
because they want to know how was it for you on your journey, and make sure that when you deliver your success stories, they are success stories. They're stories that can be checked. They're stories that can
Mm,
be backed. You know, there was a gentleman that was when I had my first, should I call it, peer supporter, right? He said to me, oh, yeah, when I had my prostate removed, I got an erection in 1 month. I said, what did you have? He said, oh, yeah, I had the operation. I had a removal, I had a robotic. Now, I've had the robotic, and we're going on 6 months now, and this man's telling me that he's had an erection in 1 month. I said to myself, he's lying.
okay, it's
There's
not true.
there's no way because it takes 6 weeks alone for your body to really say heal,
Mhm,
and then it's
understand.
still not healed 100%. You still got to be patient.
Yes,
So do you
certainly.
see, this is the problem. Some
Yeah,
people suddenly, yeah, yeah, I want to be a peer support worker. I want to go and tell my story and do this.
that's not true.
But unless you're experienced enough, you would know when they're talking, nah,
I can't work with that.
nah. I don't believe in
Interest.
giving people false hope.
No, no, no. And people won't trust you anyway.
No,
If they
no,
don't trust that, they'll start not listening to you
yeah,
anyway, and people just switch off. So
yeah.
I can understand that not being
Mm.
helpful.
And again, before I finish, having a good peer support worker, if somebody asks you a question and you don't know the answer, just say you don't know,
Absolutely,
or let me signpost you to someone that can
absolutely.
help you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and there's lots of information out there.
loads of
Yeah.
information.
So if you've got good sources,
Yeah.
not always the internet, because the internet, anybody can put anything on the internet and it becomes, oh, I read it on the internet. Some things are very good, and some things, of
Mm.
course, you need to check
Yeah,
your
yeah,
sources and
100%.
not believe them. So tell me, if someone's listening right now and is feeling alone after having a cancer diagnosis, what is your single most important piece of advice you've given about reaching out and connecting with a peer?
Um, don't let fear and embarrassment, right, or shame become the better of you. If you want help, seek help. Find yourself a support group. Ask your oncologist, you know, where can I go and get support? And make sure you research your support groups. Don't just land in there just because you were told, oh, here's one, this one. Research your support group. Because when you find a good support group, you find a family. And this is what it takes to help you heal, to help you move on. It's a family. And most of all, be able to trust that person that you're communicating with.
It's amazing. So tell me, please, where can listeners find you, your support groups, your gym? Just tell us everything that they
Oh,
might need
yeah,
to
the
know.
gym. I didn't even mention the gym. Thanks for
I
reminding
know.
me about that. Yeah, because again, that's another form of support. Support comes in different forms. It
Yes.
doesn't necessarily have to be, hi, my name is Bob and I've got prostate cancer and you're sitting in a row, I
Yeah.
mean, in a circle,
Yeah.
right? People have support in different ways. You could go to support groups where you're baking cake.
Okay.
Yeah. In our
Yes.
support groups, we have the prostate cancer gym. You're there, you do your exercise. We help you through your pelvic floor exercise. Wonderful comradeship going on there, right?
Yes.
Each man help each other. You
Yeah.
could be then doing an exercise, you wet yourself. Nobody laughs at you. We
No.
just turn and say, oh, well, you've opened the floodgates again. Never mind. Let's get on with it. Yeah. That's a wonderful feeling. Again,
Yes.
you have
Yeah.
you have support groups where it's like in our groups, we allow people to take their talents with them. We always spot if you could play the guitar in our group, we ask you to rendition. Yeah, if you could sing, we give you the opportunity. Yeah,
Really?
if you're a poet, we give you the chance to give a poetry. And
Wow.
it's such a wonderful feeling.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And we bring out those talents in you
Yeah.
in order for you to feel so much better. Don't bury it. Don't let cancer determine who you are. Don't let
Yes.
cancer suppress your talents.
Mm.
Let cancer push that talent through even more. Yeah. So in saying that, you could find us on
Mm-hmm.
www.cancer, don't let it win, or Instagram at cancer, don't let it win. You could email me on info@cancer, don't let it win, CIC.com. There you'll find, other details, more information. The website, you'll be able to contact us and we could allocate you to one of our support groups.
Yeah.
We have quite a number of support groups now in and around London and now also outside of London because
Wow.
we don't believe in being London centric. Wherever
Excellent.
you need support, wherever you have a prostate issue, if you've been
Yes.
diagnosed, we're there. We want to be there for you, and we're not going to let cancer win.
That's wonderful work you're doing, Jeff. Really, if anybody's listening and don't know where to turn, just received a diagnosis, or maybe have had the diagnosis and treatment and still don't know where to turn. So that's an amazing support system that you set up that will help people.
Yeah,
So thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate your frankness and your honesty, because people, that's what people want, don't they? They can look beyond what's been said and really understand whether or not this is a
yeah.
family, like what you just said, that you can really trust. So
Yeah.
thanks for your time. Very grateful.
You're
And
welcome.
we'll speak again soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, most definitely.
Thanks
Well,
so much.
thank you again for inviting me, to have this conversation. And I do hope it can help others. And we are very transparent. When I said we, what you see with me, my transparency, is how everybody in our group are very transparent. So if you visit any one of our support groups,
Yes,
you know you're going to come in as a stranger, but you're going to leave as friends. Thank you.
amazing. We'll leave it there. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.